if it will work out for you today. But we wish them all luck.
Yeah.
Yes, we wish them all luck. Let's see how it goes for them. But you know what? Today, I thought it is the first time, I humbly admit, that we're having a show about something that has physically shocked me in terms of the statistic. A statistic that has physically shocked me.
Wow.
Because I still don't understand how it's possible. So we have learned from a report that was presented to the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement private sector forum in South Africa just a couple of months ago. We've learned from this report that 80%, 80% of drugs imported into Africa are fake.
You're kidding me.
I wish
8%
I
or
was.
80%?
80%. Only 20% of them are real.
I don't want to believe this.
I don't either. But I've been
80.
talking. Listen, I've been talking to pharmacists, and they're telling me that it's true.
Oh.
It is true. Look, a pharmacist told me under a condition of anonymity that this is something that they are even aware of, right? As a body, as a society, they know that there are some manufacturers of pharmaceuticals who outsource their manufacturing to countries like India and China. And when you go to India, for example, let's say you want them to make you some generic version of paracetamol, right? The thing that makes paracetamol, it's called active ingredients, right? Those active ingredients, you can decide with the manufacturer what percentage of active ingredients you want in your version of the drug that they are going to make for you. So if you want 100% active ingredients, which should be the case, they will charge you an amount for that. If you want 80% active ingredients, they will charge you, and the remaining 20% will be starch. Wait. If you want 50%, they will charge you for that, much cheaper, obviously, and then 50% of the drug will be starch. You can go as low as 20, 10, 5, 0%. You can pay for a 0% active ingredients version of any drug, which means they'll basically make starch tablets and give them to you. And you bring them to Ghana and you will sell them in the pharmacy for the same price as the drug you are pretending that it is. The paracetamol, for example, that you went to make. Do you get it? So people are really healing based on the placebo effect.
But how can this? I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I'm really, really, really shocked.
But you know what? I wondered whether perhaps the problem is not so serious, because maybe we know how to spot fake medication. So we went to ask, our fellow Ghanaians, how do they tell whether the drug they bought is real or fake? Listen to this.
The manufacturers of the drug, and that's exactly what I check.
I just check the date, whether it has not expired.
I have to check the expiring date on it, yes. So that's what I look for.
But I was reading that the only way you can tell is to subject it to a lab, a chemical or test or lab something.
Yeah. Some of the medications made by the, what's the word I'm looking for? The accredited and certified and, respected pharmaceutical companies, they come with barcodes and things that you can check.
Okay.
That will tell you, where this was made, when it was made, where it was transported through to get to you, all of that. Okay? But Ghanaians don't really have that information. You heard people saying, I checked the expiry date. Okay. Somebody said, I checked the name of the manufacturer.
Or carefully examine the drug.
You hear other examples of things people do to satisfy themselves that the drug they are taking are genuine. But 80% of them are not. Akwafu.
Wow.
Today our conversation is serious.
I see why you are affected by the
I'm shocked.
Oh gosh. It's terrible.
Anyway, in all things give thanks. to Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. And Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner. We give them thanks for the BBC News. BBC? The 6 a.m. news from Joy. And of course, the Joy Business Report is coming up now. Brought to you by Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Bank of Ghana directs commercial banks to submit recapitalization plans by September this year as it moves to ensure they build required reserve buffers. Also, Ghana City to make significant improvement against dollar this week after recording more than 8% gain last week, but outlook hinges on successful IMF support program. Plus, Ghana Revenue Authority makes case for retailers and customers to demand VAT invoice for all purchases. Details coming up. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. It's great to be with you this morning. Commercial banks are now required to submit recapitalization plans by September this year. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, disclosed this after announcing the regulator's decision to keep the policy rate at 29.50%. Here's George Jaffe with more.
Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison noted that the move is to ensure that the commercial banks build the needed buffers going forward, despite profits picking up in the first quarter of this year.
The stress test that we did, yes, it showed that the banks would need recapitalization. And it also means that, yes, we would need the financial stability fund for those banks that struggle to rebuild their capital buffer.
The governor has also been given details on how these banks can go about their fundraising exercise.
We expect banks to approach their shareholders first to recapitalize. Others may be a little bit more difficult and therefore may have to approach for assistance from the stabilization fund.
Ghana's debt stock reduced by more than 140 billion Ghana cedis from November last year, December 2022, on the account of the Ghana cedi stability. The governor of the Bank of Ghana believes a lot more needs to be done going forward to firmly stabilize the Ghana cedi.
When you have a high composition of foreign debt in your total debt stock, you must be, sensitive to the management of the exchange rate.
There have been concerns about the effectiveness of the policy rate hikes on the declining inflation rate, and the governor of the Bank of Ghana insists their actions has been a major factor in what is happening to the inflation rate.
I think the evidence is clear. You look at the core inflation numbers, for example. So the monetary policy tightening is having an impact.
The governor of the Bank of Ghana also disclosed that the Gold for Oil program has indeed been successful, as it has helped the Bank of Ghana in building up more gold reserves, as well as stabilizing prices of petroleum products on the market.
That was George Jaffe's report. Meanwhile, private sector credit generally slowed in line with the tight monetary policy stance, the rebalancing of banks' portfolio after the domestic debt exchange program, and moderation in economic activity. According to the Bank of Ghana, private sector credit in real terms contracted by 15.2% compared with 2.4% growth recorded over the same period comparatively. Now, economist Dr. Syed Idrisu has called on government to expedite action on the $1.5 billion Ghana Financial Stability Fund to save local banks from collapsing. According to him, the fund will be a major boost in ensuring the reserves of local banks due to the losses suffered as a result of the domestic debt exchange program. He added that failure to do this could cripple local banks and further slow the growth of the local economy.
If we don't get the $1.5 billion stability fund by July, we cannot avoid a banking crisis. It's inevitable. So at least the government must be told straightforward to be aware. And if you go back to the Bloomberg reports and all that, it's clearly stated how much losses these banks have made. Since 1993, some of them have made losses. They have all recorded losses.
Okay.
So if government doesn't act fast enough to help them stabilize through the fund, then definitely what will be the next target? We will have a banking crisis. It's obvious. And we shouldn't play worse with this. We should just let the government know straightforward.
You heard economist Dr. Saad Idrisu. Now, expect the Ghana cedi to make significant comeback against the dollar and other major currencies this week. That's forecast by many research institutions, including GCB Capital, Databank Research, and Republic Securities. The cedi gained over 8.6% in value to the dollar last week. Here's more in this report.
The cedi ended last week as the world's top performer after narrowing its year-to-date loss on the retail market to about 7%. Analysts expect the anticipated foreign exchange inflow from the International Monetary Fund deal to show up Ghana's foreign reserves and strengthen the cedi. However, they expressed concern about the decline of Ghana's imports cover by 35% as of April this year. Ghana's balance of payment financing gap throughout the IMF support program is estimated at about $15 billion, with the $3 billion package making up 20% of the total needs. The program envisages additional funding from the World Bank, among others. Therefore, the exchange rate outlook hinges on the time frame for completing the external debt operation and a successful biannual reviews under the program.
That was a business desk report. In other news this morning, before we do that, let's check the currency market for you. A quick update on how the dollar is faring against the cedi. Dollar going for 10 cedis 95 pesos this morning on the forex or retail market. The pound going for 13 cedis 80 pesos and the euro going for 11 cedis 85 pesos. We can move on now. And economist Professor Godfrey Bokwen has expressed worry that the design of the current International Monetary Fund program does not address the leakages and wastage of public funds. According to him, the fund overemphasized the need to increase revenue without setting up anti-graft systems that will prevent corrupt acts in Ghana's public financial management system. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Bokwen argued that the current deal will leave Ghanaians more vulnerable.
Look at where inflation ended 2022, 54.1%. The important question will be, has inflation peaked or it hasn't peaked? If it is a considered view of the Monetary Policy Committee that inflation hasn't peaked, then there is the scope for.
Economist Godfrey Bokwen there, obviously talking about inflation and not what we wanted to talk about, but we'll sort that out. Listen, the Ghana Revenue Authority is urging the general public, particularly retailers and customers of general items, to demand value-added tax invoices. Now, according to the GRA, the quest to increase revenue from VAT needs collaboration of all stakeholders in order to bridge the tax income gap of the country. Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Division, Edward Jamira, told journalists that the GRA will soon begin a process of inspecting VAT invoices from buyers at various shops and sales points.
For customers who also patronize this product, also an offense purchase and you fail to obtain required invoice. So going forward, we expect that customers will also insist on their VAT. It is very, very important. All of us are required to, expected to support in the revenue mobilization effort of the Ghana Revenue Authority and for the states. And failure to do this affects the effort of the states in generating the required revenue develop. What we're going to do with this exercise that we have done is that we are going to arrest all these taxpayers who fail to comply, who fail to issue the required invoices.
Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Division at the GRA, Edward Jamira. The Institute of Internal Auditors has indicated that its members' operations have been affected by cyber threats. According to past president of the Institute, Richard Ntim, members would have to tread cautiously in dealing with clients. He ever called on members to use sophisticated technology for engagements to ensure sustainability.
The world is changing. Risk is changing at a very high speed. And as we develop new systems, come out with new technologies, the associated risks are key to internal auditors. For instance, cyber risk. We deploy technology and associated with it, look at the issues affecting banks and various online systems. We seek to identify these associated risks, especially as internal auditors. We focus on identifying risk and coming out with effective controls to manage the risk, to ensure that objectives are achieved. We do online banking transactions, and across the globe, cybersecurity, it affects everybody.
Richard Ntim, past president of the Institute of Internal Auditors. Former President John Dramani Mahama has promised to rule out a 5G revolution and artificial intelligence to fully unlock the potential of digitalization when he becomes president. According to him, his government will invest and leverage digital infrastructure to expand and enhance productivity in various sectors of the economy. The former president was a keynote speaker at the 7th Ghana CEO Summit here in Accra.
Just as 4G network was introduced when I was president, it is my wish that the full rollout of 5G, the 5G revolution, and the full integration of AI as a facilitator for our productivity will happen under my next tenure as president by the grace of God.
Former President John Mahama speaking at the 7th Ghana CEO Summit here in Accra. On Investor Eye today, the Ghana Association of Banks is asking investors to ignore calls that may be purported to have come from banks requesting identity numbers, passwords, or any form of information on investments or bank accounts. John Ewa, CEO of the Ghana Association of Banks.
Just be conscious that the fraudsters are all over the place. No bank, and I want to underline this, no bank will call you for your ID or your OTP or your date of birth. We will never call you for those details. So when someone calls you and tells you, oh, I'm calling from bank A, can you give me your OTP and I'll do this? I just sent it. Please do not respond. That is not your bank. Transact safely. And when in doubt, please talk to your banker.
You had John Ewa, Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, on Investor Eye today. Make a date on Thursday. As we wrap up, let's check the commodity market. Crude oil open trading at $76 a barrel after increasing marginally. Gold lost more than $10, selling this morning at $1,961.69 an ounce. Cocoa trading at $3,023 a ton after losing $45 from yesterday's trading. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com. My name is Daryl. Thanks for doing the listening. It's back to Kojo Yankson with more of the Super Morning Show. Are you planning a trip across the country for Joy Prime, your program?
Yes.
How soon?
Actually, I think our next trip will be next month.
Next month?
Yes.
Where do you intend going?
We are trying. It's a toss-up between the north and the west.
Okay. The Jim Tata team already know where they are going.
They planned their next move.
Oh,
already.
yes. I was eavesdropping. So, Mbura is planning to go to Kwawu. And Eben is going to Senchi. That's where it's going. So, they were talking about it, actively discussing it before the news. So
that means they'll share a trotro all the way to the Adome Bridge.
I guess so.
And then they'll split up. Jim Tata is coming soon to a town near you. Hide your children.
Yeah.
Yo. By the way, Mbura chose our inspirational song. Mbura, please come and help us with something. I want him to help us with the title and the artist.
Well, while he comes,
where is he?
Good morning to Uncle Ebo, patron of Jim Tata.
Oh, yes, of course. Brand ambassador for Jim Tata. Yes. Anyway, so Mbura gave me this song. It's a song I love, by the way. Very nice. And I asked him the title. He said, I was some God.
That's what he said?
Yes. I think he's combining Fanti and English. I was a some God. As for you, praise God. It's by Donnie McClurkin. And here it is, our inspirational song. I was some God.